Good morning, friends. Katie Steinberg here, coming to you from a different location. It is just about sunrise in North Carolina, where I've been at the Wild Goose Festival. And this week I've just heard so much about climate change and kind of what is our responsibility and role in that. And fortunately not a lot of the shame and blame kind of component that I think often paralyzes us from doing anything about it. And actually, I heard some good news for the first time about climate change. And in fact, the place I heard it, there is a website, a fellow who leads it, his name is Tom, and he gave a talk. His website is efaith.quest. And he talks about a lot of our sort of spiritual responsibility to the environment. But he started by talking about good news, about the people who are actively trying to make changes, who are actively working towards a better planet, and the scientists that are saying it's actually possible. The numbers seem huge, but the possibilities are endless. And the reality is there's not a lot that I do or that you do each day that impacts our world. Little things, right? I mean, you know, we drive our cars and we put trash in landfills and those kind of things. And so any ways that we can pull those back are helpful. But they're not as helpful for addressing the big problem as they are for addressing our own complacency and keeping our minds aware of the planet and its needs. And, you know, the bigger things that we can be doing is just participating in the cultural shift to put pressures on big companies to reduce emissions. You know, it's the big ones are carbon emissions from some of the 100 companies in the world that produce most of the carbon emissions. You know, methane is a big one. Leaning in hard to solar and wind energy could really shift the direction that we're headed in. And one of the things that Tom shared was that this is not a future people's problem. You know, that I think sometimes we sort of think this is something our kids will deal with, they're our kids' kids, and the reality is if we wait for the kids to fix it, it'll be too late. There won't be a lot of ability to turn back at that point. But again, he started with the good news about actually often young people, but people all over the world who are finding ways to reduce those emissions, who are planting more trees, who are, you know, advocating and leaning in hard to solar and wind energy, etc. So that part's encouraging. And then I also heard a speaker this week at Goose who's talking about indigenous people and how they relate to the land, and that they don't see it as something separate that's to be dominated and stewarded and tilled, but that it is alive in a different way than I've ever been invited to think about. And before the speaker spoke, he asked Pachamama, Mother Earth, to give him permission, basically, to participate in engaging people on Mother Earth's land, not his land. You know, and I just find myself being really encouraged to be outside, to be in touch with the earth. The problems in our environmental issues can seem too big. So I just really want to encourage each and every one of us to find one tiny change you can make that is good for the environment, and to find time to be in touch with the earth, to put your feet on it, your hands on it. It's good for your mind, your heart, your body, your soul, all of you. Benefits from being out in nature, out in the world that we were invited to, you know, we don't own. And the reality that we've caused a lot of harm, which I say not for the space of shame, but for the space that we might engage in whatever little piece of making it right that we can. And And any space in which we seek to make things right will be a space of healing and nurture all around. Sort of like a ripple effect. So go breathe some fresh air today. Put your feet in the sand or the dirt. Touch the earth. Touch a tree. Anything. Get in connection with the natural world. And let that slowly, gently, lovingly, with so much grace and forgiveness, invite you into a life that has a better impact on our planet. Listen for the world's natural sounds, not the ones we create. I hope you do that and find healing for yourself, for people around you, and for your world. Grace and peace.